really love to engage in cardio, running, and power walking have reached out with foot problems and knee issues. So what we'll do first is hit the foot, then we will look at the calf, and then as far as the knee, we'll need to look at the back of the leg, the hamstring, the front of the thigh, the quad, and then the outer leg and the inner. So what I want you to think about before we jump into this is there's usually a chain in the body, like a chain reaction. So if I'll just give myself as an example, when my neck flares up, it's issues on the left side of my neck. I also have more tightness on the left side of my low back. My left hamstring isn't as mobile as the right. And lastly, my left ankle has some issues. For some reason, oddly, I've sprained my left ankle more than the right. So let's get started. First, with the foot, any type of tennis ball or mobility training ball you have might be helpful. And what you can do is just bring your foot onto the ball and roll. And I'm doing this on my arch, and I'm moving even to the inner arch where I can really feel something. And when you feel that sweet spot where you're not sure if you love it or hate it, just sort of relax, especially the foot that is not on the ball. Relax the toes, relax the shoulders, relax the face, and just breathe into that release. And then maybe you'll move the ball around to some other areas. The ball of the foot, you might even lean into the ball with some pressure, or even back into the heel and press. So that's the first with the foot. The second is you'll stand on your knees and curl your toes under. Now this will depend on how often you do it, how long you can sustain it, and how perpendicular you bring your spine to the floor. So you'll bring your hips back onto your heels, and typically if you haven't done this, you might be leaning forward. That is okay as long as you're feeling this uncomfortable feeling in your feet. In time, you'll be able to come upright so your shoulders are over your hips. Even notice the balance between the pinky toe and the big toe. So that spread of balance across 5 toes on a foot. And then the weight of bringing your sitting bones, those golf ball nuggets you sit on, down into the heels. You can draw the lower belly in and reach the crown of the head up. And then if you need to do something while your hips are on your heels, you can just simply bring your arms up and float your arms down by the side. And do that a few times. Or even come into a goalpost arm and lead with the elbows and bring them in and open. And do that a few times. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is release the calf, the back of the leg, because that can contribute to some foot pain. If you have stairs where you live, you can do that heel drop where you release through the back of the leg. If you're in one floor living, you can do the same thing with a yoga block and just bring the heel onto the floor and the toes onto the block, and you will need to physically lean forward or even bend the knee slightly so you can drive the heel down and get into the back of the calf. What I actually like doing is downward facing dog, where one leg is closer in towards the hands, so the opposite leg can lengthen through the back of the calf. So I notice that a lot of people, when they come in the down dog, they're much too close. They walk their feet in. So then you're not going to get the release of the calf. You also don't get the release of the spine, where it's cascading down to the floor. So I would recommend start in a plank and then lift your hips into down dog. And make sure you've got that degree of space. Then I'm going to pick up my bumps out to the right. You want to keep the knee tracking in line with your front hip crest. Then start to press the left heel down, and at the same time, you're rotating the back of the pelvis up and lifting your sitting bones up. So you're getting a deep release on the back of the left leg. So that is one option. And then if we're going to pair the release of the calf with the inner thigh, so we're now starting to work above the kneecap, this is what you'll do from down dog. So you're in your plank, you lift your hips into down dog, and this time I'll release the right calf. So I'm going to drop my right heel down, lift the sits bones, and then the left leg I'm going to sweep up. Now notice, I'm not hiking my left shoulder up, keeping the shoulders square, and then I feel almost as if I'm pulling my left knee, sweeping it up away from the right knee. So I'm getting into the right inner thigh as I drive the right heel down. So that hits calf and inner thigh. And then while I breathe for a moment, to release the front thigh, the quad can get tight from running, and as those muscles shorten, it's a little bit of pressure on the knee. So if you just simply sit hips onto your heels, that muscle lengthens. Now if this is accessible, you might lean forward, separate your feet, and bring your hands deep into the back of the knee. And then smooth the flesh of the calves back and bring your hips down between your heels so you're getting an even deeper stretch or release. If that's a little too much, you can grab your yoga block and sit on your block. But you want to feel something on the front thigh. The other front thigh is to step one foot forward. This is my right, and the left back, and just lunge forward. This is hitting up a little higher on the right quad. But if you want to come a little lower, you can also get a deeper release of this front thigh. Next, we're going to hit the outer hip and outer thigh. So this, you might have also heard of it referred to as the IT band. You're going to take your right foot, cross it over your left. It's the foot or the leg that's behind that you'll feel. So with my right foot in front, I'm going to feel this whole chain down the left side. So simply hinge forward at the hip. You might need something to put your hands on or down to the floor. So this whole outer left hip, down the thigh, all the way down to the outer ankle, I can feel. And then you drop your head and breathe here a number of breaths. And then I'll uncross, slowly roll up. And then you'll hit your second side. Lastly, we're going to do downward facing dog. So you will, again, line up in a plank and lift your hips. So this is probably the best hamstring lengthener because you're working in traction. What is necessary is if your body weight is forward, like I am, you need to bend your knees and straighten your elbows as you're pressing the mat forward. If you feel a lot in bent knee, in your hamstrings, that's where you want to be. Then maybe in time, you straighten your legs. My body weight is still back in the legs. And then you'll come down. So I also have videos with belt stretches. I think I have probably 3 on this YouTube channel already. So I'm not going to address that, but that would be lying down on your back with your leg up and using the belt to open the leg and to twist. And those are beneficial for runners, walkers as well. So have a great day, and it's really important to do this